I was once in the Big Apple.
You were in the Big Apple.
In a Big Apple.
Oh, okay, that's better. So tell me about that.
So, you may have read about it in my tell-all memoir, Cell in the Big Apple.
So I read the Amazon description for that.
Yeah, what happened was I was planted near an apple tree as a very small thing, which I was born as a small thing.
Right.
I was then planted next to us, and so what happened is as the seed grew, I was sort of brought up into the circulatory system of the tree, which trees have.
Mm-hmm.
And as the tree bore fruit, it approached maturity. In sort of the time lapse of your mind that you should be seeing, the apple grows bigger, but I'm the little beating heart inside of it. And what happened is that apple got really, really big, so big that it just clunked off the tree because I myself weigh no less than 155 pounds.
Right.
The apple, it's also to grow around me. I mean, utterly
momentous
massive, like dented the ground.
Ginormous apple.
Absolutely. Like we're talking like a solid city block.
Okay.
And at this point, like I just sort of started biting my way out. I was like really hungry. It was like, and I just started like chewing my way through it. And if you can imagine in your mind, me alone eating for hours at a time, never blinking, never sleeping. My nose is running nonstop, and I'm chewing, and my mouth gets like stronger and stronger, and just like the most like intricately detailed bas relief, almost like Petra. Are you familiar with like these ancient carved stone cities that you would see, and but on the inside of this apple core. And then one day, the passersby eventually passed by and stopped by and took a look at what's going on. Why is this? And so you could sort of see it was like a buzzsaw, but it was my jaw, like a circle around the stem. And I popped out and I said hello, and I fainted dead away into the waiting arms of my wife. And people walked around in there and took a look at the beautiful city that I'd carved, and it rotted around them. And I went to college, and now I'm here.
I mean, I knew that your life before college was really exciting, but like, I can see why you needed the memoir now, because like,
people couldn't believe it.
Yeah. And then it rotted, and the monocles pop off dramatically.
All 6 of them. Welcome to Haha, yeah.
Welcome to Haha, yeah. The classic show.
Come here often?
I guess so.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome to the classic show. I have a question for you.
Wait, introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Hyperlink.
Who's that?
Number one dog of online.
I'm Cell.
And who's that?
I'm Cell. Name's SEL, big letters. I'm huge behind me. Big fire.
Imagine just like a big high-budget stage show.
And precisely what I
glowing letters. S.
It's like the Super Bowl halftime show.
Exactly.
And it's just me in like my little sweater going, hey.
And you're just like, like a little chair.
Like, do you want to hear a story about an apple that I grew up in?
The crowd loses that shit.
The football players swarm the field cheering.
But I carved a little city with my teeth. So it was delicious and nice.
The Pepsi halftime show.
Sell on the web.
Oh, what up? It's Cell, the envy from the web. This next bit goes out to Sun Saint at Radical.town. Sun took me up on the Haha Bernie Sanders challenge by making over 20 phone calls for Bernie for a chance to request a Haha Yeah bit on the topic of their choice. Sun went ahead and made 69 calls. Nice for the big man himself. And their request is for a bit centered around the concept of the goth. Here you go, Sun. Shouts out. Thanks for all your hard work. Bernie 2020. Where's the goth spawn point?
I mean, it's a cemetery. I hate to say it. It is the cemetery nearest to you. Yeah. There's nowhere cooler a goth could spawn. Additionally, I think that a library could also be cool.
Shh. Goths are spawning.
But here's the real thing. If you put a couple torches around that goth spawn, you're going to be able to...
really control...
Right, and you're going to be able to get all that loot, the goth loot that they do got.
What sort of loot does goth drop?
Goth drops a rosary.
A rosary?
Yeah, but
that's
it's
a priest.
It's like all black. Okay, sorry, I confused goths and priests.
What's really funny is that I have a question here that says, how did they select the goth pope?
So, I feel like that is definitely like a crow off. Like, everyone gets all their crows and then you...
Crow off!
That's what they shout. It's like a Hamilton moment
literally.
Where everyone, like, gathers around in cool poses.
It just, like, zooms out.
Yeah.
Crows cawing.
And just, like, hundreds of crows descend upon a small circle of goths. And the crows select the goths, and they fight it out.
The crows are the goths.
I mean, anybody who can.
I feel like goths are too disaffected to do any... They could do, like, a competitive slouching.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah.
I just feel like if the crows are fighting and the goths are watching, that's not ethical. But if the crows and goths are all fighting together, that's fair.
It's a melee.
Right.
So it could be a crow pope.
Right, okay. So, yeah. Well, the Crow Pope and the Goth Pope are inexorably linked.
Yes. Well, that's the holy duology? Trinity. Yeah. Oh, it's a trinity.
It's a trinity, and the third is just the combination...
Is MCR. The lead singer of MCR.
Fucking... I don't even know who that is. Billy Ray...
Eilish.
Is here, and in my big band MCR.
You know what his name is? Dr. Delicious.
Hey, everybody. It's me, Dr. Delicious. You might remember my hit MCR song title of... Wake Me Up When September Ends. I'm here to tell you. I'm here to tell you that I'm the third of the Goth Popes, and I'm Crow, and I'm Goth, and I'm Goth, and I'm both. Hey, until the next Crow off, I'll catch you then.
Disappears in like a wisp of black silk.
Yeah. And that's how they do it. It's a beautiful process.
Fuck yeah,
and
dude.
then black smoke huffs out of the chimney, and it lets you know that the Goth Pope off.
I think it sucks into the chimney.
just sucks in pollution.
Eco-goth.
I'm looking eco-goth. I'm constantly selecting new popes to fight pollution.
The noise is immense. It slowly coalesces into beats. You open your eyes and see nothing, then something, then a little bit of light, then the reflection off teeth and eyes and bodies, and they're moving and grooving and rocking back and forth. Lipsticks wild, never smiling, heaving back and forth in grim, sweaty reveries as the band growls. The bass is unrelenting. The room is black. Your eyes adjust to the black light. You're in the goth club, and you know, in the deep dark of your heart, that you need this room evacuated, and you need it evacuated now. There's one exit. A bar at the back of the room, a dance floor, a stage, a gender-neutral bathroom. What do you do next?
I need to evacuate the fucking goth club.
You do.
So I'm going to take a couple steps pretty much instantaneously. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the gender-neutral bathroom, and I'm going to clog the shit out of it.
How are you doing that?
So there's like toilet paper and all manner of stuff, right? Yeah. I might run to the bar and grab like tampons, a bottle, anything I can find. I'm just gonna cram as much of it as I can into the gully of the toilet and flush it until it fucking runs with water out the fucking door. I'm gonna leave all the sinks on.
Yeah.
And then I'm just gonna like prop the door open and just let it all waft out. That's gonna be step one. Already that area of the goth
people
club
are like, oh, what's going on?
The vibe there is horrible now. There's gonna be people kind of like
my vibe.
Yeah. There's gonna be kind of people like shifting in, kind of like more toward the dance floor. So the next thing I'm going for is the bar. I am gonna take the alcohol, and I am going to pour it on the music equipment.
Oh shit!
Which is gonna make it.
The band's like, hey, what are you doing? This is expensive amps.
And I'm gonna be like, these amps are now covered in vodka, and the vodka is expensive, and so now the music is trash. The water is flooding the venue.
Okay.
I'm assuming at this point the chaos is going to be so significant that somebody's going to be like, let's turn the black light on, like off. Let me figure out what the fuck's going on in here.
And they put on the stage lights.
Stage lights. The vibe in here now fucking sucks.
Yes.
This is just a horrible club where there's no alcohol in an over flooded bathroom.
I can't even feel grim in here.
Right. And then I'm gonna yell like, hey, this is management. I need you to fucking sort of get out. And then everyone is gonna evacuate. Boom.
Well done. I feel like a goth might be a little more unruly. Be like, fuck you. Who are you, dude?
That's true. A goth would say that to me, and they'd be right to, because I am fucking up their vibes for no reason.
An L7 square.
I am. Like, objectively, that is
50s greaser goth that I've invented.
We're goths, with our Criscoed hair and leather jackets.
I don't like Ike, dude.
I really, the thing about that is I have no rebuttal other than to double down on my lameness.
Yeah.
I need to be so vibrantly lame that goths can't even stand to be in the same room as me.
It's bright in here. I'm gonna have to be even sadder. Who's this dude? Fuck you.
And I'm just like, I really loved the movie Meet the Fockers. I'm up there just like, Meet the Fockers was a good movie.
More like Meet the Fuck You. Dude, put MCR back on. We're bopping and grinding to Bauhaus.
I have the microphone and it's way too close to my mouth. You can hear me breathing the whole time, and I'm just like, yo, I really need to tell you how much I think Dane Cook is funny. I'm up there just like, Dane Cook? When Dane Cook does the thing with his hand where it's like the middle finger but also the ring finger, so he's not actually flipping anyone off, I think that's hilarious.
They're hissing and they're like frolicking in the toilet water. Let's be gross. Let's all crowd up in the gender-neutral bathroom and pee everywhere. We're punk.
Don't do that. Instead of that, I need you to get out of this building because I love Steve Martin.
Steve who?
Right. So no, he's like an older man. In like 2000, he had a lot of... Have you seen Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
At this point, you've done it. Almost everybody is like, there's only one I mean, and this is a goth unlike you've ever seen. You know, this person, they've got the makeup on, the head is shaved, just they're literally wearing a cloak made of chains and like incredible bondage gear. And they're like literally like they can't even open their eyes, they're so disaffected. And they're like, what are you doing?
So like I'm making direct eye contact with this goth. I'm staring this goth
and they're down. They're like purposely like looking away. They're like,
I'm just like, hey. And they kind of like look over at me. I'm just like, do you want to make out?
Yeah.
And I sprint, full sprint, like arms in front of me like I'm fucking racing.
Do you think you have any power here? I'm a gay MB with depression.
I'm into that. And I'm sprinting.
Let's do it. Let's get into some debauchery. I'm too goth for even being scared.
The venue's getting longer and longer as I run this infinite pathway toward this very hot, disaffected goth. I'm just like, I'm down
shifting.
for it.
They have like a mullet now, and they're like only they have chains around their fists, and they're wearing spandex. They're like, this is like whatever.
Radically shifting from goth to goth.
Yeah, exactly.
This final goth that I have to overcome with my love.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, I'm willing to figure it out. I'm willing to experiment and figure out what you're about.
Filthy, dude. I'm like, I can't even go outside without a parasol. Now they're like a big parasol. They have one, a big one.
I'm just like, well, hey, I'm willing to figure that out over like a cup of coffee sometime. Like, I don't really know what your whole vibe is.
The music's getting louder and the goth just sits on the floor. This time they're just wearing like shitty Vans and nothing else. They're like, what?
That's honestly the coolest shit I've ever seen, dude.
I'm still running.
I was saying a lot of shit because I had to evacuate the goth.
And all of a sudden the goth is gone, and you've just been running in this empty Super Mario bar for so long. You've aged horribly. Huge beard all the way down to your chest. You're wearing like old man clothes, you know, like weird suspenders. And the goth, you're like looking around, you're reeling. You're like, wow, if they're so goth, why am I in a space that's purely light? And you look up, and it is just a human-shaped gap in the space, in the light space. And it's the goth. I mean, they've shed their earthly disguise. They're just a silhouette and the scent of sweat. What are you gonna do? Who do you turn to? How are you escaping this light space?
The first thing I do is look into the camera and go, this is what I get for falling in love with a goth, am I right?
The goth takes 10 cringe damage.
And then instantly my feet just leave the ground, and I'm floating up, kind of like flipping backwards up into the goth hole.
It just passed right through it. I mean, this goth is entirely dark matter. It's just barely energy. It's somebody so disaffected that it's just a gap in the space. Like, you can't even get into that. You pass right through it and you're on light on the other side. You're gonna have to try again.
Huh, okay. Well, my plan to fully subsume into the goth didn't work.
Yeah.
I guess I'm not chill enough.
Maybe that's the key.
Okay. I slough off my old man clothes.
Okay.
Now I'm just wearing old man sneakers and nothing else. I'm sitting on the floor in a wet puddle.
Duality.
And I'm just like, whatever.
What? You just hear it ringing out of this gap in light.
Yeah, whatever. I'm like actively rubbing the toilet water kind of like onto my body and onto the floor, and I'm just like, I think that Def Evan's pretty good.
What? They're posers.
You ever heard the band Daughters?
Oh no!
They're pretty good.
I've never heard of them.
Oh, you should check out their record. They've got some good stuff going on.
Are they on Spotify?
Yeah. But I can get you like a Soulseek download.
They're like hard pulls out of their throat.
And I don't even look. I'm like, I don't care. Whatever.
And you're just in the light space forever. Aged 100, wearing nothing but sneakers and a huge beard that covers your genitals.
Well, I'm glad that I evacuated that goth club.
You did it.
Yeah.
Good job.
All the goths are just milling outside waiting for a cooler venue to pop up.
a cig, waiting on a lift.
Yeah.
They're waiting on their big crow to pick them up.
It's surging, the crow. The crow's so expensive. I think it's bullshit.
Yeah. Remember when we got dunked on at the basketball court that one time?
I think about that all the time.
That was like a moment.
That was an intense, stressful moment.
Yeah. We were just having fun.
Yeah, we were just there kicking it, trying to like
shoot some hoops and talk, play some one-on-one.
And this entire organized group was like, we need 2 more people to play basketball with us.
And we said, we do not want to play
Yeah, we said, no, we're not good at this game. We'll do badly. And the dude was like, that wasn't an option. That was us telling you that you're in this basketball game. And we were.
Yeah.
For like 25 minutes.
We were bad.
I just ran in circles. I don't think I touched the ball once.
I got the ball like once or twice and like missed every shot. Could barely pass it.
I remember one time they passed me the ball to be nice and I panicked. I was like, this is the least nice thing you could have done for me because I have no idea. I don't know the rules of this game. And so you've given me this curse, but now I'm in this incredibly intense performance mode with people who are way stronger
and
more
tall, strong. Yeah, like clearly strapping. Had played in like college or high school or something. They were like good.
Yeah, they do this often. They come regularly. I'll never forget the moment holding the basketball. Like I am on the fucking spot right now. I think I just passed it immediately.
I remember feeling a kinship with one of the there was an older man who was on my team. I was like, all right, you and me were both feeble in different ways. And he was still leagues better than I was.
I had no solidarity. No. I was in the gulf where no human contact could reach me, running in perfect spherical circles on the basketball court, surrounded by the strapping men. With my shirt off too.
Yeah, we were so vulnerable.
Yeah, I
tiny shorts on.
Yeah, just running in fucking circles.
You're like a whiff of a person.
Yeah,
and they were like fucking chucking it down the court.
I was just like waiting to get bashed in the fucking head. The Ratchet letter was like, oh, we lost, and then I immediately started leaving.
Yeah, we were like, we gotta go.
Yeah, we gotta go. That was our basketball talk for the day.
We were like quiet on the way home.
We were like fucked up. Like, what just happened to us?
I don't know.
I mean, like,
we got a hint into the cishet world. Yeah, what it was.
Yeah. In a certain way, that was very friendly and nice of them.
Yeah.
But, like, we're too neurotic and queer.
They couldn't have known.
No.
They were like, oh, these are two normal people.
Yeah. No. I was born a very small thing, and I ate my way out of an apple to get here.
I was going to say, I clung to a seed for most of my life.
Now you want me to play b-ball?
Outside of the school?
Yeah, definitely not. Totally not equipped for that.
Yeah, we got fucking owned. Would a plane wear any kind of clothing?
No, because a plane is always dressed. The plane has all sorts of amazing decal. It has all sorts of, a big floppy nose at the front.
It does.
It's got, oh yeah, absolutely. And the wings are the arms, and it's always dressed. A plane can't be naked. A plane can't be naked.
Plane with a cowboy hat.
Damn it. This plane.
Big one. Also a little one. Both good.
Well, that's the thing. The plane is going to take off, and it's going to take so much of the plane's effort. He's struggling. Woo!
Yeah, every time.
Flies off to reveal the smaller cowboy hat underneath.
That's being cinched up to his chin with a long leather string.
A polite southern plane never leaves home without a hat. Yeah.
A lady?
Passengers. Hell yeah. I have a question for you.
Yeah, what's up?
So, recently, Billie Eilish was interviewed by Vogue.
Okay.
But Vogue did not write the questions. They trained an AI on all search terms related to Billie Eilish, and the AI wrote the questions. I'm sure they were curated.
Wow.
These are the questions the AI asked.
Wow.
I just like to now ask some of them to you.
This is so exciting. Fine. Hit me. Here we go.
What are you like?
Friendly. I'm helpful.
Okay.
I'm earnest.
Yes.
I'm not chipper. Very different.
Are you sure you're not chipper?
I can chip with the best of them, but I'm not chipper in any meaningful sense.
I think you're chipper when you gotta be.
I'm chipperish.
Okay.
Chipper.
Are you ticklish?
Yes.
Good.
Thank you. How else am I? What am I like? I'm like a small silver boat.
Yeah.
I'm like a sort of toeless juncture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a big smile.
Yes.
I'm like a little leaf with a moon. I'm like an orbit full of forests. I'm like a good friend of yours.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a bull.
Oh yeah.
I'm full of likes.
Yeah.
I like.
Great.
Known to like.
You're known to it.
Any other questions?
Many. What are you missing out on?
Oh, Jesus shit.
These are good questions, Doug.
Okay.
Yeah.
What am I missing out on? Damn, dude. I'm missing out on a little, I know what I'm like, but I don't know what I am. Like, I have to put a mirror on the other side of the word like and look right back at me,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm with every day I learn more about myself. In a lot of ways, everything that I need is given to me. Everything that I need, my immediate health needs and my food needs and all these things are good. I'm not missing out on any of those. I think all of us are like missing out on like certain understandings that I feel like of the world around you and of yourself that you want other people to know about you. That's just something that you can't like build on your own. That's something that all you can do is like focus on yourself and how you relate to other people. Right. And then eventually like those missing pieces, you'll be like, oh wow, this is a new friend that like I could never have imagined I was missing out on this. I think that's like a good way to be doing it. I'm missing out on a little money. I could use a little more money. I could pay some big debts. I'm missing out on a lot of like experiences that are happening right at this time. Incredible life-changing experiences. This is a fantastic experience. But like, what's going on in Nairobi today? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Probably something really exciting. That's something I think about all the time. I'm like, what if I'm at work? Not in this moment. If I'm at work, I'm like, what am I missing out on? I'm missing out on a lot. It's not like a direct FOMO. It's like a big grand
global scale.
A GLOMO.
GLOMO. Yeah, that's huge. What consumed so much of your power in one go?
I've been practicing kicking lately.
Wait, we need to talk about kicking right now.
Well, let's talk about kicking a little bit. There was a time in my life where I kicked a lot. I think there was a point where like I could probably do a kick that would have trained me in like a deep way. Mm-hmm. I could do like a big deep kick. I once got big deep kicked. That definitely, I definitely was like all of a sudden just like not willing to do martial arts anymore because you get kicked once.
I'm assuming this is like whatever the martial arts equivalent of a recital is.
No, it was worse. Much more intense, actually. I went to a place that was like very focused on like martial efficiency and viciousness and like really doing it. It was Krav Maga. It's like very intense. And so they're like, welcome to the master's class. You're going to fight someone for like an hour. Like it was totally brutal. Like different people would like come in. You were wearing all your protective gear, but I got fucking kicked in the head like I had a nasty concussion and like threw up on everyone's shoes. That drained me in one go of most of my desire to do martial arts again. Let me tell you, like they kicked the toggle in my head. I was like, I want to do martial arts and I do not want to do martial arts.
Holy fucking shit.
Yeah. Also getting up to go to work takes up, like when I first crack my eyes open, I'm at 100%. By the time I get out of bed, I'm at 15%.
Jesus Christ.
You know? It's not. I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't mean to depress you.
No, it's just rough to hear.
Yeah, it is. Well, you know, it's just like you lose your enthusiasm once in a while.
Yeah.
It's like you power down.
What used to be a pretty big deal to you?
Martial arts. No. What used to be a pretty big deal to me? Okay, this is perhaps an aspirational one. I think that like it used to be like being liked in a very specific way was something that really mattered and matters to me less now. And in short, that's like the kind of liked where it's like, oh, that person, and seeing them, I like, this is a person who will always agree with me. This is somebody else looking at me. This is a person who will always agree with me who's like very attractive and like all these things. Like, you know, like that's how I want it to be perceived all the time. Now I'm at this point where I'm like, I'm doing this for me. Mm. And it's not as important to me. It's important to me to be like perceived as attractive. Like, who doesn't want to be perceived? But like, I can go out with my hair looking not as good as I like it to. Whereas in the past, it would have been like a debilitating meltdown. It's not as important to me to like self-deprecate anymore. I'm not into that. I'm too good. And I know it.
Hell yeah.
You know. Hey, I did a good job.
These are really, really good. This one's really good too. Mm. Was there a point where you decided you'd rather look up to the sky than the internet?
No. I feel like I have two eyes, so I should be able to do both. And I really sincerely mean that.
Shit. Have you ever seen the ending?
I like that question a lot. I look forward to seeing my ending. Not right away. In a long time. I think it would be cool to see how this story ends.
Huh.
I think that like there's going to be an excellent, we're still in the first chapter. There's going to be 2 or 3 in the middle and then the final chapter. I'm so like, I think about who I'm going to be right before I die. Hopefully it's a long time. I don't get whatever illness or whatever. But to like sit there and like witness your own ending and be like, oh shit, here's like all of this life that I lived. Did I do what I wanted? What didn't I do? In order to witness that ending, it forces you to look back at the rest of the story. I look forward to that. That's exciting.
Wow.
It's horrifying, but it's also pretty exciting.
Yeah. Those are my questions.
Fantastic questions. Thank you for
sharing. Aren't those so good?
Really, really
as good. As soon as I saw that, I was like, I need to give some of these to Sel, because, like, God, I have 2 eyes. I can do both. Fuck me up. God, that's so good.
I'm just saying. Let's talk about the transcendent.
Sounds great.
Do you want to get into it?
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is something I've actually been chewing on for a little bit. It's not even a joke. According to my app, comes up on my phone. It's a time of awareness expansion. What I, as somebody who reads their phone apps and gets information from them, I gleaned that it's a time of awareness expansion. And it really kind of got me thinking, and it kept talking about how it's a time to interrogate the mundane and think a little bit about your day-to-day life and what you could be doing and modeling it better, and that you should be approaching things like meditation or dreams and thinking about the things that you kind of want to manifest. Perhaps manifest is too loaded of a term, but thinking about your life in a way that's a little bit different. So I think we're going to talk a little bit about the transmundane and sort of what I've done, and I've sort of been thinking, because I've been reading this book called Magical Marxism that's been really, really good. It sort of pointed me into this understanding that the mundane is ideological, that there's ideology behind it. So I thought, what if there was a program, and by a program, not a software program, a program that you and I can do every single day that would sort of allow us to escape the mundane, to sort of manifest in this short month of time a better way of being.
Huh.
So I wrote 6 steps.
Yes.
I'm going to share them with you.
Okay.
These are things that you at home can do to escape the mundane. These are things that you can do to model transcendental awareness in your life. You could take them or leave them. Step 1. Upon waking, attempt to record a dream. Invent one otherwise.
Oh, that second part is fucking brilliant.
Second, when walking, notice nothing. Third, when sitting, notice the hollow weight of the day and ask yourself where you'd rather be. Ask yourself if there's a way to rapidly construct where you'd rather be immediately. Ask yourself what you can do in the meantime. 4. 1 hour after eating meals, reconcile your body's parasympathetic dreaming with your forebrained rationality through expressive action. Visual art, writing, audio, hooting, howling, drilling with a firearm, sketching the shape of the space you inhabit. 1 hour after meals. Number 5. When entering your home, move directly to your room and mark your intuitive awareness of the world outside around in ink on the floor by the bed. This is paramount. Your brain is reconciling its shift between working, existing in public, and existing in private. Why aren't you doing the same?
Oof.
Number 6. Consume a piece of challenging dream work every single day. Jodorowsky, the great surrealists, 5 pages of magical realisms. I would suggest 100 Years of Solitude are a great place to start. Or the French Journals of the Situationist International. If you do this every single day for a month, I guarantee you nothing will happen that you can notice, but it will happen anyway.
Wow. God, that last part is fucking essential.
Who knows if it's going to happen?
Right. Well, I mean, like, I think that there's something to be said about this. Just, like, something about making this a process amplifies the transcendental nature of it significantly.
Hell yes.
If you did this to yourself, it would be very different than being instructed to do it by somebody that you, at best, know parasocially.
Right. I will say that the app said this is a great time for meeting instructors, teachers of any kind. And I think there's a reason for that, is that when it's outside of your own reality, it's impossible to grasp it otherwise. So I love the idea. I called it the Debord Buendia program, which is after Guy Debord and the main character of one of the main characters of 100 Years of Solitude, for exactly that reason. It's totally depersonalized, it's coming from outside, and it's an imposition to start a process right now.
To start a process that is all-consuming, you think about it every second of every day, is kind of impossible.
Right.
But I think reframes the way that you like experience the things in your daily life in a way that I just like angles your mind toward perceiving it as transcendental.
Right.
I think that's totally fascinating.
Because the transcendental isn't necessarily something that you can see outside the world. You're not always going to be the kind of person who can like phase in and out of dimensions and warp planes. I don't even know how much of that is real. But what I do know is that like I experience things every single day, and there's things that are still magic that I can't rationally understand because I feel things and I want them to be different. That's enough. That counts.
Yeah,
that's post-mundane.
Absolutely.
You know?
And like there's something about like I think you and I talk a lot about everyday magic. There's like a reconfiguration of the way that we like experience our daily lives toward like looking for and celebrating and inventing that kind of magic that I think this ascribes to.
Absolutely. I think that that's exactly what it has to be, because like without that program, you'll have these momentary flashes of magic. But this is like an opportunity to systematize your approach to like, okay, I'm going to take the absurd very seriously for 5 seconds.
Yeah.
And it can work or it can't. Who knows? If you do it, something will happen.
Yeah.
It'll change the way that you think about your day-to-day routine at the very least. Sometimes that's all it takes to be like, oh shit, I'm not happy in this situation. Oh shit, I'm really happy in this situation. It's like a way to approach the mundane differently.
Yeah,
I think is important. Would you have any additions to that, just off top? I mean, no pressure, but
let me think for a second.
What I did to do this was think about my day-to-day life and how can I freak it. What's a way that I can open up my
how can I make this sicko mode?
Precisely. I was trying to go sicko mode on my day-to-day routine.
I don't know if this is transcendental.
It can be personally transcendental. Perhaps the 7th step is what is a personal thing that you can do to this list that you add to the program.
Whenever I'm like walking around in my daily life, I'm typically listening to music on my headphones, and I take kind of seriously the idea that in those moments I am for real in a music video, and just like amplifying like the cinematic tension and like the meaning of everything I'm doing and seeing and experiencing in those moments to that song that is meaningful to me. Like I don't know, it totally prepares me for the next thing that I'm on my way to go be doing.
Sure.
Like think of that moment as like meaningful and like in a way like a little bit spiritual.
Absolutely.
Like, it just like amplifies and deepens the personal exploration and thought that I'm having with myself in that moment.
That is exceptionally transcendental in every sense, especially in the sense of the transmundane, because it is, you're commuting, you're walking somewhere, you're driving, whatever it is, and all of a sudden you've managed to like recontextualize it, you freaked it, and there's a little music going, and all of a sudden like you are experiencing reality in a way that other people can't subjectively do that, because it's fully in your brain and your own mind.
Yeah.
And you're experiencing something that's like in that sense, like that is truly psychedelic. Like it is truly like outside the bounds of reality. And it's something as simple as like quote unquote listening to music, which has all of its own amazing qualities. But I think that's fantastic. Yeah. I think that's like exactly an example of like chasing everyday magic. And it's something that like, I noticed you were quick to like try to like say, I don't know if this is transcendental. Like it totally is, right?
Well, what I think makes it less transcendental for me is that everything else on your list was so open-ended. Like kind of like gesturing at corridors with no ending, right? And just telling people to go lose themselves down them. Like songs are definite and constructed, and I think are a little bit designed to elicit that kind of a reaction from you. So for me, it felt like it would be different if you were writing your own songs.
But I think that like I would almost disagree. Like I think that those two things can exist and like feed off of each other. Like one of the things on this list is to consume a piece of challenging dream work, whether that's a painting or you know or like. But I specifically like I pointed to things that are like more traditionally bizarre, but like. Perhaps like 6A is like, don't just consume your piece of dream work, it's live within it.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, this I love. Yeah, because like, I mean, what's the point of a painting if you can't blue skidoo one in there and interpolate that into your fucking lived experience?
Blue skidoo is officially a technical term for all time. We are blue skidooing into things.
I've been thinking about blue skidooing so fucking much recently. It's perfect.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, because like the fucking arm motions and then the into it, like that's, I'm trying to blue skidoo into all sorts of shit. I'm blue skidooing from moment to fucking moment.
This is the blue skidoo protocol.
Exactly. Yes, it's the fucking blue skidoo. It's the blue to board protocol.
The blue to board.
Blue to board. Freak your gourd. Freak your gourd.
Oh my god. All right. So when I pointed 6, let's work backwards. Now that we've had a bit of an airing out. When entering your home, the idea is that you enter, you sit at the floor by your bed, and write down the first 3 things that come in when you're still in the moment where you're brain and body is trying to transition from like one type of being to the next.
Yeah.
Would you add anything to that?
Slippers.
Comfort.
Comfort.
I would almost say, do you want to add discomfort? The floor is a place you don't usually sit. Hurts your butt.
Yeah, but I mean, part of that, I'm making that transition physical.
Okay.
Yeah, you're not just transitioning psychologically and mentally from work to public to private. You're also doing that by like sloughing off your armor and replacing it with tenderness.
Interesting. Okay, that's a very deliberate thing. I love this. Yeah. I think everybody who follows the protocols should. I mean, that's the point, right? If it's open-ended, that's fantastic. Yeah. All right, so that's number 5 on your protocol. Number 4. This is the one where 1 hour after eating meals, you try to reconcile your body's rest with something that is expressive and sort of rational. Whether that is like creating a piece of work or physically moving.
I think this one's pretty complete. Because like I experienced this very literally in that Pellets Guy literally brings something bizarre and wacky to my lunch table every single day. And it is exactly that. Okay. And I think that just covers it.
So you already do that. You get a 4. You check that off.
Even better if you can get a bizarre man to bring you that shit. So you have to think about it less.
Weirdo. Yeah. A big friend.
Yeah.
To come. You know, I think that's number 8 is have a big friend who sort of bumbles in and says, have a look at this, and lifts the silver platter, and there's like a big strange lei made of wreaths.
Here's the real shit. Who is living a more transcendental life than fucking Pellets Guy?
I think Pellets Guy is absolutely a practiced master of the Debord Buendia protocols.
Yeah, he has truly turned that shit into a complete fucking lifestyle.
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
So when sitting at your workplace, noticing the hollow weight of the day and asking yourself where you'd rather be, there's a way to rapidly construct a situation where you are where you'd rather be, and that's open-ended. And if not, ask yourself what you could do in the meantime, if you can't build that right away.
This is so macro, I want there to be a micro element.
Okay.
Like, I think that, like, what's one thing you can do to revolt against your current situation?
Picture the opposite of yourself.
Yeah.
What the opposite you looks like.
Yeah. Or like, yeah.
Number 2, when walking, notice nothing.
Oh.
I have my version of what that means, but I think for each person in their mundanity, it should mean something else.
I actually might disagree with this one. I find that when I'm noticing nothing, it's when I'm truly submerged in the mundane. That I'm so deeply embedded in mundanity that my brain is no longer even recording the things that I'm doing.
So consider then there's two ways that you could major ways you can go with this. Consider that like we're going through this backwards. This is like when you're walking perhaps to work into your building from your car in the short span of time. In order to freak your mundane, you need to notice nothing. You need to notice what your nothing really looks like. This is what's going to happen. Feel the fear and the anxiety and the dread of knowing that there's going to be 8 hours of gray in your day in a moment. And perhaps with some fear spiked through and maybe a little bit of joy, which kind of all ties into the mundane. But like the idea is that like when you're walking, notice nothing. That's one side of things. Perhaps for many, it'd be healthier to notice nothing in the meditative way. Nothing but like pure sensation and experience. No thoughts inside. You're noticing nothing.
This to me feels more radical because like it also centers you more in the moment that is liminal before you are subjected to the terror of the 8-hour workday.
Right. So I think that like, yeah, so you could frame it in both ways. Like this is intention of noticing terror and like, escaping terror entirely by being fully immersed in it in a no thought way.
Or maybe it's rapidly oscillating back and forth between
the two. That sounds awesome. And I think that it could be, I mean, you're doing this every day for a month. Perhaps one day when walking, noticing nothing means something to you and you can only notice, what you can really only do is notice it how your nothing is in that moment. But perhaps the next day, like, oh, this nothing's a little different. You just follow your nothing for 30 whole days. Who knows what can happen?
Hell yeah.
Number one, the first thing upon waking up, attempt to record a dream, invent one otherwise.
Yeah, invent one otherwise is the most important part of this to me. Because you are then like extrapolating on dreams you've previously had to invent a new kind of like untenable psychological signifier spray.
For me, I think it's important to remember it doesn't have to be long. It can be one sentence, just a catalog of sensation.
Yeah. Let me pitch to you: record your dream, but change details intentionally when you wake up.
Oh, interesting.
So that your record is
skewed.
Yeah, and completely false.
Fantastic. I love this. I feel like what we've just done is we've created the program. Perhaps my version is the Debord version, or yours is the Buendia version, and together, like you're allowed to mishmash whatever sort of perception of your daily life you're trying to freak.
You know what I'd love? I'd love for this to be a webpage where it's like a guide, but every time you refresh, one of our like things
is different
because there's no rule set. It's just like the vibe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which is what it's supposed to be, and it's not even like random. It is vibe guided.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
For sure.
But I guess with a webpage. Thank you so much for joining me on this.
That was amazing. That's a really, really extremely sick way of approaching mundanity.
That's how I'm trying to be.
Hell yeah.
Thank you, app.
I have something for you.
Yeah.
The sky is raining streaks of crimson fire. The grass is singed to ashes. The lakes are all dried up. The bombs are falling. The world is fucking done. The folly of mankind has finally buckled under the weight of its own cruel, lavish stupidity. There will be no further tomorrows, no more mornings or nights to long for, only this one last moment. You've already done every important thing and done them perfectly. Gotten on the phone or in the same room as all your loved ones, told them in excruciating detail how much you love them, that even though no world will follow this, the world won't be the same without them, and heard them say the same of you. You've finished all your business, gotten all your closure, and begun to prepare for the inevitable. There's only one thing left to do. Post up. 30 minutes till the world ends and all that's left to do is fucking chill. How are you spending your time?
That's a fantastic question. I think that like right away the mind goes to like my little baby self is like do every drug there is. Just really get fucked up. Like do all the things you didn't want to, just like really experience the carnal flesh desire. I mean, what else is there at that point? I think that, yeah, like you knock on a destroyed building and be like, can I post up in here and start my local orgy? I think that at that point, that's really all you can do is get lost entirely in such a absurd, joyous sensation of human, disgusting beauty. That's all there is to it. All you can do is get out there and get sloppy and messy with do some finger painting in some mud, follow your desire instantly. You know what I mean? Like really like just get into your like a little, you're embodying Dionysus just a little bit. Maybe, you know what? It's just red wine. There's no drugs. It's red wine only. You are like, it is your responsibility if there aren't flowers to draw them on the ground. You need to draw them on people. You're spray painting it if you have to with heavy paints. There's lavender in the air and it also smells like pus. It's totally disgusting. I mean, you're gonna go out to the singed lake and scoop up some dead fish and throw them at each other like disgusting putrid snowballs, and at the same time your makeup is gorgeous and you're glittering and you look exactly how you've always wanted to look, and you and your beautiful lovers are dancing across this ashen destroyed desiccated landscape, and you all together reach this beautiful glittering apotheosis of total selfhood, post-selfhood, selfhood beyond any sort of reason or bodily protection or power, and then finally you all collapse and spend the last 10 minutes hanging out watching a little anime.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, that's what you do.
Lo-fi hip-hop beat just to close it out.
There used to be some kind of electric guitar element to this, but
oh yeah, that's part of the Dionysus thing. Yeah. Van Halen is there.
It sounds like a plan. I'm in.
Yeah, you want to go?
Let's do it.
This show is a proud member of the Mastodon Podcast Network.